Zhao Lidong, an S-class awakened genius, knelt down to humbly beg for an invitation to join the team. But all he received in return was cold contempt. The entire hall seemed to explode in outrage when that young woman calmly uttered, "I don't need the strong, I need Lin Chen." The brutal rejection turned the selection event into an expensive joke, stirring up a wave of panic and extreme jealousy. Why Lin Chen? Why would the young lady of the Shen family rather choose a piece of trash abandoned by the whole world instead of the strongest person in the academy? Amidst the storm of humiliation and hateful gazes, who exactly is Lin Chen that makes everyone so crazy? The story begins with Lin Chen sitting in class, casting a complex gaze out the window. Having transmigrated to an alien world but possessing only a trash-tier beast-taming talent, capable of only imagining low-level beasts from the illustrated handbook. The prospect of being a mere background character for others made his expression turn somber. Determined to defy fate, Lin Chen chose to walk a wicked path to imagine a beast that had never appeared in any handbook. Although he knew the mythical divine beasts from Earth's legends possessed immense bloodlines and were prone to backlash that could cost him his life. At this moment, he was thoroughly fed up with being looked down upon. In his sea of consciousness, the phantom of a colossal entity flickered, and Lin Chen whispered, "It is you." Stepping into the magic circle, he took a deep breath and focused his spirit. The silhouette of Zhulong, the ancestor of all dragons in the classic of mountains and seas, the god of time managing the cycle of day and night, gradually emerged. As the magic circle activated, a terrifying pressure descended, nearly reducing his body and spirit to ashes before a heaven-shaking explosion created a mushroom cloud that enveloped everything. When the dust settled, Lin Chen stood dazed among the ruins, holding a giant egg in his hands, a sight that left even the seasoned principal frozen in place. Just then, Bai Luwei stepped forward, arrogantly declaring that her mistress had already obtained the 6-star Heaven Horse Beast's essence blood, ordering Lin Chen to stop clinging to them and likening him to a toad wanting to eat swan meat. He calmly accepted all the sarcasm, causing the principal to inwardly admire his composure. Returning home, Lin Chen brought the egg back to his younger sister, Lin Yuxi, his only remaining relative. Learning that her brother had succeeded, Yuxi was extremely excited. Lin Chen seriously promised, "Wait until I finish the university entrance exam. I will definitely help you get into a top-tier provincial school." To hatch the egg in a short span of 5 days, he needed money to buy nutrient solution, so he sought out the Donghai City Adventurers Guild. As soon as he entered, he was warmly welcomed by everyone. When Sister Ru Yi suggested a guiding mission at the Ghost Soul Canyon, a group of young masters and misses, including Shen Lingshuang, Bai Luwei, and Qin Hai, appeared. Qin Hai immediately mocked him as a level 9 trash. But as soon as he finished speaking, dozens of adventurers in the hall stood up in unison to protect Lin Chen, leaving the group of young masters and misses stunned, like a stock trader forced to sell at the peak of a wave. Qin Hai lost his mind with rage and challenged Lin Chen to a duel. If he lost, he would have to kneel and bow. And if he won, he would receive 10 beast-taming silver coins, an amount worth 10 million yuan. Lin Chen agreed immediately. In the arena, Qin Hai summoned a wind-chasing wolf to rush and attack. Lin Chen tumbled to dodge the move, threw a battle axe to force his opponent off balance, then launched 3 stones that forced him to lie flat on the ground. Seizing the opportunity while the wind-chasing wolf was caught in a trap, Lin Chen rushed forward and delivered a killing blow punch that shook Qin Hai's brain, causing him to collapse on the spot. He collected the money, ignored the mission, and left. That night, at M. Lin Chen drank a bottle of holy water and entered the Ghost Soul Canyon alone, where a level 30 Ghost King was wandering. His goal was to scavenge for loot to sell for money. Suddenly, the roar of the Ghost King echoed, and a horde of zombies and spirits ran for their lives deep into the canyon as if a major event was about to happen. He did not hesitate to venture deeper, encountering the twin Soul Master King being besieged by a middle-aged man in black robes and a young girl. The presence of the 4-winged Demon Eye Master King, a 3-star illusory beast, made Lin Chen break out in a cold sweat, because this was a rank that the entire Donghai City could not produce, proving that this man was at least a super-level beastmaster above level 100. Just then, the young girl puffed out her cheeks to scold the man for interfering with her hunt, making the situation more unpredictable than ever. Suo Shanhe and his granddaughter, Suo Yao, began their hunt in the Ghost Soul Canyon. With just a light wave of the 6-tailed demon fox's claw, dozens of zombies and spirits were torn to shreds, dropping countless valuable items. Being a young lady of golden leaves and precious jade, The girl Su Yao did not even glance at the spoils. Riding the six-tailed demon fox to chase the Ghost King, Lin Chen, hiding in the shadows, immediately emerged to clean up the loot, overjoyed that this harvest was worth more than half a year of hard work combined. However, he did not stop, but decided to go deeper, heading straight into the poisonous miasma chasm, the most dangerous place in the canyon. Upon arriving, the scene before him made him freeze. Suo Yao was terrified. The six-tailed demon fox was panting, and Suo Shanhei looked pale. It turned out that this powerful warrior had been too subjective, bringing too little holy water. So now they were all being overwhelmed by the poisonous miasma. While the Ghost King was excited because it was about to devour this group of wealthy people, Suo Shanhei had nearly given up hope, ready to sacrifice even his pet beast to carry his granddaughter and run away, just as the Dao heart of the level 100 powerhouse was about to shatter like an iPhone screen hitting a stone floor. A call rang out, "Senior. Take this." A bottle of holy water flew over, and Suo Shanhei caught it as if he had just grabbed the last life buoy. He hurriedly provided first aid to his granddaughter and then used the rest to recover himself. However, the Ghost King was still aggressively rushing at the two comatose pet beasts. Seeing that scene was like a spectacular save in a Fast and Furious movie. Lin Chen threw a dagger that embedded itself straight into the monster's mouth, then added a magic bomb that shattered the Ghost King's maw. Seizing the opportunity, Suo Shanhei threw a decisive punch, crushing the Ghost King's head. Suo Shanhei's feeling at this moment was like having just bought a stock at a bargain price before the market recovered, relieved and full of gratitude. Suo Shanhei introduced his identity and offered to invite Lin Chen to the Suo family, even sincerely advising him to skip the university entrance exam if his results were not good, because his F-rank talent had almost no chance in this grueling exam. Lin Chen just smiled lightly without taking offense. He understood his own strength but still wanted to test it. After parting ways, he returned to the Adventurers Guild. As soon as he entered, every eye turned toward him with envy. Sister Ruyi handed him a gold coin, a bonus gift from Shenling Shuang worth a staggering 100 million yuan. Holding the coin in his hand, Lin Chen felt no excitement. He frowned, intending to return it because he did not want to be entangled. But Sister Ruyi stopped him and smiled cryptically. "The young lady of that family said it. If you don't accept it, go return it yourself." Clearly, this was not a simple gift, but an unlimited credit card sent along with an implicit challenge regarding the relationship between the two. Lin Chen took out his space bag and poured all the loot onto the guild counter. The entire noisy hall immediately fell silent as a mountain of props appeared, causing the inventory staff to spend exactly 1 hour to value it at a total of 565,000 dragon coins. With the large sum of money, Lin Chen quickly stopped by the market to buy 10 kilograms of high-grade medicinal herbs for 300,000 coins and hurriedly returned home. Upon reaching the gate, he saw the thin figure of his sister, Lin Yushi, waiting. Returning to the room, Lin Chen took out the beast egg and was surprised to hear an angry grumbling sound coming from within. Thanks to his spiritual connection talent, he clearly understood the message, "You hateful person. You're suffocating this dragon long to death." Lin Chen was shocked. It turned out that after many times of being erased by the will of Zulong from the classic of mountains and seas in his imaginary world and then being resurrected, he had truly hatched the ancestor of all dragons. He immediately took the incubator, put the egg in, and poured the entire bottle of high-grade 3-star medicinal solution into it. In the blink of an eye, the solution turned into clear water. The eggshell turned red and swayed repeatedly. This little creature was truly a bottomless pit. Just like how debtors use credit cards uncontrollably, it kept demanding more. Lin Chen ran around everywhere, emptying his entire savings and the 10 beast-taming silver coins he had just won to buy a total of 100 kilograms of special medicinal solution. Finally, a crisp crack sounded. A brilliant red light enveloped everything, and a small snake with a crimson body and golden eyes appeared. Although slightly disappointed that it was not a majestic figure, when he saw the lotus-shaped divine pattern on the small snake's chest, which perfectly matched his memory of Zhulong in his Sea of Consciousness, Lin Chen immediately used his beast-taming book. The contract link was successful, and the information appeared: Zhulong Xiao U. Level Hate. Illusory Beast Species. 3S. Rank Evolution Talent. Its abilities included Time Delay, Time Prohibition, and Time Reversal, skills that in this world were definitely game-hacking items with no rivals. Even more surprisingly, Xiao Yu's favorability toward him since birth had reached 100, an unimaginable number that even level 100 beastmasters like Suo Shanhei could hardly achieve. 3 days later, The day of the beast-taming university entrance exam, the most important national event, finally arrived. The Donghai Arena was packed with people. Amidst the array of young masters and misses driving supercars gathering, Lin Chen silently appeared on a public bicycle. The atmosphere at the exam gate was particularly tense, with rumors that Suo Shanhei, vice chairman of the National Beast Taming Association, would personally serve as a judge, causing a stir among the candidates. Young Master Tai boasted to the crowd that he held the secret to Mr. Suo's appearance, while simultaneously pointing out the three brightest names for the top scholar position: Shen Lingshuang, Zhao Lidong, and Tian Chunlai. Seeing Tian Chunlai step out of a supercar with the eldest daughter of the Tran family, everyone around turned red with envy. Clearly, this exam was not just an arena of strength, but also a place where the cruel wealth gap between the gifted geniuses and those with mediocre awakening talents was defined. At the Donghai Arena, the day of the beast-taming university entrance exam, the event that would change the destiny of countless youths, was hotter than ever. Amidst the arrays of luxury cars and wealthy young masters and misses flaunting their power, all attention was focused on the golden couple Zhao Lidong and Shen Lingshuang. Zhao Lidong, the eldest young master of the Zhao family, known for his elegance and handsome looks, walked beside Shen Lingshuang, who was dressed in a pristine white combat dress, creating a talented man and beautiful woman scene that left all the satellites around them, from Tai Chaofan to Qin Hai, only able to stand and stare while swallowing their saliva. The crowd began to jeer, awaiting the appearance of Lin Chen, the one labeled as an F-class trash, to see how humiliated he would be when witnessing his ex standing by someone else. Just then, amidst the mockery of the crowd, Lin Chen appeared, still in that simple outfit. He walked with a steady demeanor, his presence overshadowing even the young masters wearing designer clothes. As soon as Tai Chaofan and Qin Hai shouted provocations, Lin Chen completely ignored them and headed straight for Shen Lingshuang. Bai Luwei, the maid known for being as sharp-tongued as a difficult mother protecting her young lady, now silently closed her eyes and stood aside, tacitly allowing him to pass, which left the entire scene stunned. Lin Chen calmly walked up to Shen Lingshuang, said nothing, and threw back the gold coin worth 100 million yuan that she had gifted him. Seeing this, Bai Luwei was furious and intended to speak up to stop him. But Lin Chen just responded briefly, "You said it. We have severed our relationship." This cold remark was like a bucket of cold water splashed directly in the face of the one who had once arrogantly declared that she had cut ties with him, leaving Bai Luwei speechless and unable to refute. Just as Lin Chen turned to leave, Shen Lingshuang spoke softly, "Wait a moment, Lin Chen." Everyone held their breath, thinking the young lady was going to teach the trash a lesson. But no. Shen Lingshuang calmly asked, "I want to ask if you are interested in forming a team with me." That sentence caused the entire arena to freeze. The shock was so immense that young masters like Zhao Lidong or Tian Chunlai almost suffered heat stroke. They had thought they were blue-chip stocks that were sought after. But unexpectedly, Shen Lingshuang had chosen an F-class junk stock. Deep down, these guys were screaming like frenzied anti-fans watching their idol date, unable to understand why a girl as talented and beautiful as Shuang would love with her eyes and choose him. But for Lin Chen, everything was still under control. He was just a person walking on a straight path, indifferent to the gossip of those who were never on his level in the first place. The humiliation for Zhao Lidong and his accomplices reached its peak when Shen Lingshuang's team-up invitation to Lin Chen was rejected by him without a moment's hesitation. Looking at Lin Chen's proud back, the whole arena exploded in confusion. Why? Why would an F-class piece of trash dare to reject the city's beauty queen, Zhao Lidong, who had just been flatly rejected by Shen Lingshuang with that very same attitude? Could only stand frozen in humiliation. Amidst an atmosphere thick with jealousy and incomprehension, a woof from the loudspeaker cut through everything, ordering the 5,000 candidates to assemble to begin the exam, under the supervision of the iron-faced Asura Suo Shanhei, the legendary level 100 Beast Master. On the main platform, Suo Shanhei was not long-winded. He waved his hand to summon a series of glowing red teleportation gates. Immediately, cursing was heard everywhere. The Silver Tier Hell difficulty dungeon. This was no different from a horrifying Black Friday, where candidates were forced into a discount shopping area that was actually full of obsolete inventory riddled with danger. To survive this difficulty, forming a team was a matter of life and death. Zhao Lidong, Tian Chunlai, and his girlfriend Chen Xiaoyu quickly formed an alliance, as they knew that even with S-class talent, their practical combat experience was not enough to solo. Conversely, Shen Lingshuang led her maid Bai Luwei, decisively stepping into the gate without waiting. However, a lonely figure suddenly separated from the crowd, Lin Chen. Once again, he shocked everyone by choosing to solo into the dungeon. On the judging platform, the information candidate Lin Chen, status solo, appeared clearly on the panoramic screen. Principal Zhang Jiangguo's face turned as dark as if his boss had just pressed him on a deadline. While Suo Shanhei curiously asked about his identity, the teleportation gate took Lin Chen into the Minotaur Hell, a silver-tier dungeon where brutal, highly intelligent, and cannibalistic minotaurs were lying in wait. Given his current level, this solo action was no different from reckless driving in Fast and Furious right in front of a truck. But for Lin Chen, this was the stage to prove that his 3S talent and his trump card, Zhulong, were truly worth every cent of investment. Just as he stepped through the teleportation gate, the system coldly announced that Lin Chen had met the requirements to take the exam, and a crimson lotus flower was imprinted on the back of his left hand, the beast-taming mark where his beast was contained. Lin Chen appeared on the first floor of Minotaur Hell, a primitive cave filled with deathly energy. Instead of summoning his beast immediately like the other candidates, he gripped his level 10 cursed short blade tightly, his cold gaze scanning the battlefield. Thanks to the experience points from the Ghost King event, Lin Chen had just touched the level 10 threshold, meeting the requirements to equip the top-tier item set he had scavenged during his days of struggling in the wilderness. In front, 50 Minotaurs were divided into 3 formations: Stone Axe warriors holding the front, swordsmen covering the flanks, and archers providing long-range support. They coordinated as smoothly as a real army. Completely different from the stupid monsters in previous exams, this was Hell difficulty, a place where a single moment of negligence would send a candidate to the scoreboard. Much like a novice losing their credit account to a hacker, watching the monsters rushing forward like sharks smelling blood. Lin Chen was not shaken. He wore a confident smile. Just as the distance shortened to 15 meters, Lin Chen suddenly took out a black sphere and threw it hard into the air, then quickly put on anti-glare glasses and covered his ears. That was a sonic flash bomb, an item worth 5,000 dragon coins that he had prepared thoroughly. An ear-splitting explosion rang out, followed by a brilliant radiance like a sun bursting in the dark cave. The Minotaurs, accustomed to living in the dark, immediately collapsed as their eyes were scorched and their eardrums were attacked directly in their consciousness, just like anti-fans being slapped in the face by reality right on a live stream. The 50 leading monsters could only hold their heads and scream in agony, collapsing into a chaotic pile on the ground, completely helpless before Lin Chen's visual control tactic. In the dazzling radiance of the sonic flash bomb, Lin Chen, thoroughly prepared with anti-glare glasses and sound-insulating earplugs, remained absolutely clear-headed. He leisurely walked up to each Minotaur, clutching its head in pain, using his cursed short blade to pierce their skulls, coldly resolving 50 targets with precision. When the light faded, only 50 corpses remained scattered on the battlefield. The system announced the successful completion of the level, and Lin Chen casually wiped the blood off his blade and headed straight for the second-floor teleportation gate, leaving behind a terrifying result. At the observation deck, Principal Wei Hai of School No. 2 intentionally tried to stir the pot regarding Zhang Jiangguo's favoritism in opening a back door for an F-class trash. Suo Shanhei was initially indifferent, but when he personally ordered the screen to be adjusted to Lin Chen, the entire auditorium was shocked. It was initially a blank white color that led many to mistake it for a broken camera. But a few seconds later, the scene of 50 Minotaur corpses lying motionless left the principals with their jaws dropped. Suo Shanhei, with his experienced eye, quickly recognized the flash bomb casing on the floor and explained the tactic of using items to finish off monsters while they were in a state of blindness. Although the principals had to admit this was the most effective way to pass the level, Wei Hai continued to mock, claiming it was just the dirty tricks of someone with no real strength. Wei Hai metaphorically and sarcastically compared Lin Chen to a credit card customer borrowing money to buy momentary luxury. Sooner or later, when facing real difficulty in the later floors, the fake goods would reveal their true colors. Zhang Jiangguo could only remain silent and take the heat, even though he clearly understood that Lin Chen's fighting style of utilizing every method always yielded unexpected results. Amidst the tense atmosphere filled with conflicting opinions, Suo Shanhei unexpectedly smiled meaningfully. Just keep watching. What if a miracle happens? The elder's words caused the crowd to become restless. They still insisted that an F-class talent, no matter how intelligent, could not overcome the bloodline limits of a low-tier beast. The entire arena at this moment felt like it was watching a dramatic action movie, where Lin Chen was silently becoming the protagonist of a collective face-slapping. Ignoring the doubts of the crowd, observing with the attitude of bitter anti-fans. Entering the second-floor hall, Lin Chen faced an upgrade challenge, 2 level 13 elite minotaurs, a blazing red rock one and a chilling frost one, with elite status and 50% resistance to abnormal status effects. This was a death gate for any candidate. Yet, while the principals outside were placing bets on how fast Lin Chen would disappear, he calmly summoned his beast, Xiao Yu. Appear. A tiny red snake appeared, leaving the entire panel of judges except for Suo Shanhei speechless. Principal Wei Hai had a chance to laugh uproariously, comparing this to bringing a plastic doll to fight a tank in Fast and Furious, while urging him to use the teleport back function before he became minced meat under the monster's feet. The moment the two minotaurs lunged forward with their fiery and icy stomp skills, it seemed as if Lin Chen's life had been sealed. But he suddenly ordered Xiao Yu Prohibition S. Instantly, time around the two monsters was completely frozen, suspended in midair. They lingered like mindless stone statues. Lin Chen agilely leaped onto their backs, using his dagger to strike repeatedly at their fatal points, the head, throat, and heart. He performed these maneuvers with skillful ease, accurate to the millimeter, much like a financial expert executing a short market order before a stock crashes. When Lin Chen landed safely and ordered the skill to be dispelled, the accumulated damage erupted. Archer. 000 points of critical damage rained down, causing the two elite monsters to vomit blood and collapse on the spot before they could even comprehend what had happened. Silence blanketed the observation deck, and the smile on Wei Hai's lips froze as if struck by a system error. Lin Chen casually stepped through the third-floor teleportation gate, leaving the principals experiencing extreme psychological shock. Suo Shanhe, the only elder to notice the anomaly of the small snake, squinted his eyes and watched Lin Chen's retreating figure with anticipation. The face-slapping game had only just begun, and those who once despised him were gradually realizing that, for Lin Chen, F-class talent was just a meaningless number on the credit card of a true genius. In the second-floor hall, Lin Chen had just put on a satisfying face-slapping performance. When the little snake Xiao Yu unleashed the Prohibition S skill, time around the two elite minotaurs was completely frozen. Lin Chen, as nonchalant as a skilled engineer, stepped forward to bury dozens of critical stabs into their lethal points. The moment the static state ended, all the damage exploded, causing the two level 13 monsters to collapse in less than 30 seconds. The entire judging gallery was plunged into a deathly silence, until Suo Shanhei, the level 100 Beastmaster, exclaimed in astonishment, a time-type pet. This information was like an atomic bomb thrown into the hall, as these types of pets were rarer than the 6 billion yuan Heaven Horse Beast, and it was a species never recorded in the Beast Taming Illustrated Handbook. While the judges were still reeling from the shock regarding the trash genius Lin Chen, a tragedy unfolded in other frames. Other candidates, including S-class geniuses, were being slaughtered mercilessly by the minotaurs. The horrific screams and blood-soaked scenes forced the medical team to constantly use revival skills. The high priest profession is rare, and revival skills from pets can only be used 20 times per day, a precious resource that average candidates cannot easily access. Wei Hai, principal of school No. R. Though pale with worry for his position and his cousin Fang Dehai, the man Lin Chen had once smashed in the head with a steel pipe for threatening students, still tried to salvage the situation with bitter sarcasm that Lin Chen was just lucky. However, Lin Chen had left all those controversies behind to enter the third floor, the final floor of the dungeon. No longer a primitive cave. This place was a mysterious mechanical palace. Amidst the cold throne, the mechanical Minotaur King, a level 15 boss with leader-tier quality, slowly opened its emotionless mechanical pupils. Unlike the previous monsters, this boss was a killing machine created from magic science experiments and possessed the property of immunity to all abnormal statuses. This battle was like a Black Friday match. But instead of hunting for discounts, Lin Chen had to face the real deal from a machine that knew no pain. For the anti-fans waiting for him to fall, this was an opportunity to add fuel to the fire. While for Lin Chen, this was the stage to prove that his skill system and IQ were the most powerful weapons. Not reliance on gifted credit cards or prestigious family backgrounds. How would Lin Chen flip the script on this hunting machine when Xiao Yu's crowd control effects were completely useless? The final battle officially began. Facing the level 15 mechanical Minotaur King, Lin Chen did not flinch at the fact that the boss's stats were hidden. He casually took out 2 vials of critical hit and attack potions from his space ring, drinking them to trigger his maximum face-slapping state. With a 100% critical hit rate and a 30% increase in attack power, Lin Chen coldly declared, "I'll let you live for another 20 seconds. the massive mechanical boss stepped down from the throne, each footstep shaking the entire palace, and launched a long-range throw skill with destructive power. Instead of dodging like a novice, Lin Chen utilized the time flow skill from his pet Xiao Wu, blinking out of existence right in front of the boss, causing its thermal sensors to completely lose track of the target. The mechanical Minotaur King was no amateur. It feigned crushing the floor to lure Lin Chen into a trade damage for life trap. But he was craftier, secretly closing in and severing the control wires at the boss's ankle, causing the giant machine to collapse onto the floor. At this moment, the boss confusedly activated its protective shield, a skill requiring a 2-second cast time. This was the golden moment Lin Chen had been waiting for from the start. Instead of using prohibition early and wasting energy, he waited for the boss to begin chanting before ordering Xiao Yu to freeze it solid. The skill being unleashed was halted, causing all the damage Lin Chen inflicted at this moment to become break skill damage with double the power of a normal strike. The sight of the mechanical Minotaur King frozen in a ridiculous posture with its mechanical pupils wide open left the principals on the observation deck stunned into silence. They understood that, in a world where reality and gaming are fused, calculating the timing of a strike to receive break skill damage is the mark of a master combatant. Lin Chen did not just fight with power, but with the ice-cold head of a professional player. Even though Xiao Yu had only been born for 3.5 days and only had support skills, the combination of master and servant created the perfect face-slapping environment, just finishing the chain of accurate attacks on the joints. Lin Chen continued to order Xiao Yu, "Restore my time by 10 seconds. He was pouring all his strength into a final blow, turning the dungeon's strongest boss into a pile of scrap metal, proving to the anti-fans that the F-class talent they mocked was nothing more than an infinite credit card they would never have. Ending the breathtaking 2-0-second confrontation, Lin Chen used the time recovery skill from Xiao Yu to reset the effects of his supplements. While returning himself to an offensive position, without hesitation, he grabbed the boss's giant alloy battle axe, pouring all his remaining strength into successive blows on vital points. When the static state ended, the mechanical Minotaur King did not even understand what was happening before an additional 200 data 000 points of explosive damage were dealt, causing it to collapse to the floor with a desperate roar. The system announced the result 2 minutes and 42 seconds, an unimaginable record for hell difficulty. Outside the arena, the atmosphere was so silent, one could hear a pin drop before exploding into gasps of astonishment. The candidates who once despised Lin Chen now looked at him as if looking at a god. While Principal Zhang Jiangguo was so excited his face flushed red, believing that High School No. 1 had produced the first provincial top scholar in history. A golden treasure chest appeared before Lin Chen, carrying top-tier rewards 20,000 experience points, a battle armor and battle boots set of epic quality, the title Minotaur Slayer, and an S-class energy heart. In particular, the title of dungeon record holder also brought an exclusive skill book, Critical Strike, allowing the user to bypass 40% of the target's armor and magic resistance. This was the perfect piece for his face-slapping fighting style. Upon opening the chest, the massive amount of experience points pushed Lin Chen straight to level 15. Yay! He evenly distributed his attribute points into strength, intelligence, agility, and constitution to optimize support synergy with his pet, then decisively donned his new gear. For Lin Chen, these items were not just tools, but things that helped him maintain his position a cut above every rival. While the judges were still buzzing about the paradox of an F-class genius, Lin Chen used the teleport back function, exiting the dungeon amidst the crowd's admiration and jealousy. Principal Wei Hai of School No. R, who always looked for ways to troll and looked forward to Lin Chen's failure, could only remain silent in the face of this brilliant achievement. The truth had been revealed. Lin Chen did not get lucky or abuse anyone's credit card. He was a truly capable machine. The anti-fans who once mocked him were now like the losers of Black Friday for missing the chance to invest in a future legendary figure. With the title of Tianyuan Province top scholar within reach, Lin Chen was not complacent. He knew that the real journey had only just begun, and this golden chest was just the appetizer for the path to the summit he had chosen. Lin Chen's shocking turnaround in the Minotaur dungeon did not only leave the entire arena stunned in amazement, but it also turned the atmosphere in the judges' area into a humorous exposé session. Principals from other schools competed to mock Zhang Jiangguo for hiding this trump card, while Wei Hai, the principal of School No. R, who had conspired to frame and eliminate Lin Chen, could only turn pale. This villain had once calculated that an F-class talent dying would be no different from a drop of water falling into the ocean. But now, he was trembling. Realizing he had just offended a dragon waiting for the day to ascend as a provincial top scholar, he realized bitterly that his dirty plan had fallen apart faster than the speed of a car in Fast and Furious. And now, the only way to save his old life was to kneel and apologize to Lin Chen. Meanwhile, Suo Shanhei, the powerful level 100 Beastmaster, maintained his outward calm. Even though his heart was raging, he had intended to mentor Lin Chen as a benefactor. But he never expected this 8-year-old to possess strength and bravery far beyond all calculations. When Lin Chen stepped out from the teleportation array with a calm expression, showing no arrogance despite having just set a 2-minute, 42-second record, the whole arena exploded in applause like a tsunami. Those who once disparaged and ridiculed him now scrambled to flatter him. Lin Chen only responded with cold indifference. Then took a commemorative photo with Principal Zhang Jiangguo, the only person who had reached out to help him when all doors were slammed shut. Moving away from the false glory of the arena, Lin Chen went to the Yangji Cafe to meet his sister, Lin Yuxi, his little sister, in her adorable maid uniform, carrying all the burdens so her brother could study with peace of mind, was his only spiritual support. Here, Lin Chen met the cafe owner, Xiang Xuanyan, a mysterious, charming woman. Do not let her glamorous appearance fool you. Lin Chen had seen with his own eyes 8 level 20 thugs being cut in half under the moonlight, and the shadows of illusory fox tails behind her. Since that horrific night, Lin Chen understood that this world was filled with countless sharks hiding beneath human skin. To Lin Chen, winning the university entrance exam was just a first step. He knew clearly that aristocratic families or powerful people like Wei Hai were just players recharging into this beast-taming game in hopes of changing the result. While he, with his scorned F-class talent, was the one holding the real cheat code. The anti-fans who once laughed at him were like hysterical shoppers on Black Friday, crowding to buy useless things. While he already possessed the most powerful credit card to purchase his own future, the Tianyun province top scholar title was within reach. But Lin Chen was not complacent, because he knew that behind the velvet curtains of the Dragon Kingdom, countless conspiracies and god-level players were waiting for him on the next leg of his journey. The conversation between Lin Chen and Xiang Xuanyan at the Yangji Cafe maintained a fragile balance toward this mysterious woman who possessed terrifying power. Lin Chen not only maintained respect but also carefully concealed what he had witnessed. When the owner sarcastically called him a mere F-class talent, Lin Chen only responded with composure, while his younger sister, Xiaohe, tried her best to defend her brother. After returning home, Lin Chen immediately summoned his pet Zhu Yu to use the rare Pet Advancement Stone. The result exceeded expectations, as Zhu Yu promoted directly to level 5 of its juvenile stage and activated the SSS rank talent Heavenly Fire Divine Fist, along with the skill Flame Dragon Eruption, watching the little dragon cub spit out pure flames. Lin Chen smiled to himself. If he returned to the dungeon now, he would surely level everything even faster. Contrary to the peace of the two siblings, outside the arena, the atmosphere became extremely dramatic. Geniuses like Shen Lingshuang and Zhao Lidong had struggled to clear the dungeon with times of 8 minutes 32 seconds and 9 minutes 02 seconds, respectively. These numbers were already a source of pride for the top 100 inches the province. But as soon as they stepped out, the arrogance of those backed by others began to rise. Tian Chunlai, Zhao Lidong, and Qin Hai, those who had looked down on Lin Chen from the beginning, immediately curled their lips in contempt. They inferred that because Lin Chen was nowhere to be seen, he must have vanished at the very first gate. Tian Chunlai even confidently laughed, assuming Lin Chen was just putting on a show. A piece of trash not qualified to clear the dungeon. These anti-fans were like shoppers on Black Friday, crowding together just to pick up cheap discounted goods while thinking they owned high-end brands. They were obsessed with dragging down Lin Chen to satisfy their pitiful egos, completely unaware that they were being left behind by a real shark. Principal Zhang Jiangguo, standing nearby and hearing the baseless insults, could only frown seriously. He understood all too well that these geniuses were lost in an illusion about their own proficiency. Names like Zhao Lidong or Qin Hai were no different from minor characters in a Fast and Furious movie, trying to scream on the racetrack but unaware that the leader had finished long ago and was leisurely enjoying dinner at home. While they were busy showing off their 8 to 9 minute achievements, Lin Chen's 2-minute 42-second record was already prominently displayed on the province's golden board, waiting for the day to be announced to slap the faces of all those braggarts. When Principal Zhang Jiangguo uttered the number 2 minutes 42 seconds, the record that shattered all limits of the Minotaur dungeon, the worldview of the arrogant geniuses at the arena collapsed. Tian Chunlai, Zhao Lidong, and the team that had been boasting about their 8 to 9 minute achievements suddenly froze, their faces turning as pale as if they had just been splashed with a bucket of cold water. To them, Lin Chen's victory was not only a slap to their self-esteem but also a bug in the logic they could not understand. These people were like stubborn anti-fans, insistently throwing stones at an F1 race car speeding toward the finish line, completely failing to realize they were being left behind by a real dragon. During the 5 days of waiting for the results, Lin Chen did not rest on his laurels. Together with Zhu Yu, he threw himself into the snowy Manhwa mountain range, completing high-difficulty missions to grind for experience. When facing a level 20 Ice Ape, Lin Chen did not need much effort with just one coordinated strike. Zhu Yu spewed a sea of fire that completely melted the layer of frost and the monster, bringing them both to a new level. When Lin Chen returned to the apartment complex, he officially received the shocking news. He had become the top scholar of the Tianyun Provincial University entrance exam. This was not a gift from the sky, but the result of meticulous calculation, far removed from those who relied on wealthy families or backgrounds to take the back door. The news of Lin Chen winning the top spot exploded in the papers like a storm, turning the name that was once unknown in a fifth-tier city like Donghai into a national focus. Reporters, like mad dogs chasing news, surrounded his house, forcing Lin Chen to stay at the villa of Xiang Xuanyan, the mysterious, beautiful woman with enough power to wipe out any intruder. In the luxurious villa, while Lin Yuxi innocently enjoyed being pampered by the owner, Lin Chen leisurely watched the interview news on TV. The sophomore student on the television was rambling about the wisdom, aura, and the times Lin Chen had risked his life to save people in the wilderness, exposing the jealous faces of the seniors in 12th grade. Lin Chen just smiled lightly. He knew that the current praise or glory was just trending news on social media. To a person with the mindset of a master, the provincial top scholar was just the starting point for a greater journey. He was not complacent, because he knew that behind the stage lights and cheers were the real sharks of the Dragon Kingdom watching him. While other geniuses were still busy arguing about whether he was a dark horse or the result of a miracle, Lin Chen was ready to reach heights that they, with their noble credit cards, could only forever stand at the foot of the mountain to look up at. Lin Chen's title of Tianyun Provincial Top Scholar was not just a number, but a historical slap to anyone who had ever dared to look down on him. When the story of Lin Chen risking his life to save the entire 11th grade student team from a giant iron ape was exposed on television, his reputation from a despised F-class talent suddenly transformed into a savior in the hearts of the juniors. Principal Zhang Jianguo, with the cunning of an old fox, took advantage of this opportunity to occupy the airwaves, performing a 20-minute affectionate teacher-student act to polish the name of school leaving the other principals gnashing their teeth in jealousy. Worldly affairs turn faster than the drifting in a Fast and Furious movie. In the blink of an eye, Lin Chen became a tasty piece of cake that every business in Donghai wanted to compete for. From the pharmaceutical company of Tai Chao Fan's father to real estate groups and supercar brands, they all competed to send extravagant gifts from villas and luxury cars to pet resources just to exchange for a sympathetic look from the top scholar. The anti-fans who had once mocked Lin Chen were now like losers on Black Friday, watching the mountain of assets pouring toward him in shame and extreme bitterness. Not stopping at businesses, the wealthy clans in Donghai were also sitting on pins and needles. Instead of demanding Lin Chen become a son-in-law as they would for ordinary S-class geniuses, they were willing to pour all their resources into letting him build his own sect, as long as he agreed to shake hands and cooperate. Meanwhile, the quartet of Zhao Lidong, Tian Chunlai, Tai Chaofen, and Qin Hai, the ones who had previously boasted and mocked, were now experiencing days of terrible face pain. Every shout of praise for Lin Chen on social media was no different from continuous slaps hitting their arrogance. Looking back on this journey, Lin Chen was not shaken by fame or fortune. He clearly understood the price of wealthy families and the vanity of the media. The crowd that once considered him a piece of trash now had to bow before his actual capability, because he had used his 2-minute, 4-2-second achievement to prove, in this world, capability is the most powerful credit card. While the petty people were still busy with fear and late regret, Lin Chen had quietly moved to a new chapter, where the real challenges of a beast-taming master were waiting for him behind the doors of wealthy families. Lin Chen's provincial top scholar achievement became a painful slap directly into the faces of the 12th grade students who had uttered insults. Now, no one dared to whisper a word, because in the eyes of the juniors, Lin Chen was an idol, and in the eyes of the little haters, he was a terror they could not confront. Chen Xiaoyu, Tian Chunlai's girlfriend, could only swallow tears of regret when realizing her genius boyfriend was now not even in the provincial top 100. Meanwhile, at the Shen family villa, Shen Lingshuang stood silently on the balcony, wondering if a reconciliation call still held any value. But she understood well enough that she had completely misjudged Lin Chen's status. A person she had once tried to humble herself to invite, to form a team, had now soared far out of reach. True punishment for the two scoundrels Wei Hai and Fang Dehai came faster than a credit card payment click. After the assassination plot against Lin Chen failed, Fang Dehai cowardly fled with his degenerate cousin, Wei Hai. However, upon encountering Xiang Xuanyan on a deserted road, these two scoundrels, instead of trembling, developed base desires, intending to use force to rape the beautiful woman. With just a gentle wave of her hand, Xiang Xuanyan sent both of them on their way, their souls imprisoned in a soul-binding lamp to suffer eternal burning. Lin Chen only looked at the news of their deaths with a calm expression, because to him, that price was still too light for those who dared to touch his sister. By the afternoon, the admissions event at School No. 1 had turned into a literal arena between top-tier academies. As soon as he entered the meeting room, Lin Chen was swarmed by a series of admissions teachers like crazy fans fighting over discounted items on Black Friday. Each representative from the Thien Van, Donglang, and Van Vu academies competed to brag about terrible perks from hundreds of beast-taming gold coins and free dungeons to S-rank skills, all just to recruit the Shark-top scholar to their team. Lin Chen stood in the midst of that storm of recruitment, his expression remaining unusually calm. He knew clearly that his value did not lie in empty promises or these gold coins, but in the capability he had built with his own hands. Standing next to him, Xiang Xuanyan casually used illusion magic to erase the memories of the curious students outside the door, leaving Lin Chen leisurely enjoying the privilege of a leader. Those who had once mocked him were now just like side characters in a Fast and Furious movie, screaming on the racetrack, but forever unable to catch up to the F1 race car named Lin Chen. The real game has just begun. At the School No. An admission convention. The atmosphere that should have been a place to honor the provincial top scholar turned into a stage of sarcasm. Even though Lin Chen possessed the top scholar title, teachers from the top 10 school group still looked at him with contempt. To them, an F-class talent like Lin Chen was just refuse that had luckily obtained a time system pet. Luo Xiong from the Kongming Academy even publicly humiliated him if he wanted to enter the school. Lin Chen would have to surrender his pet and accept adjustment. This brazen request was no different from telling a self-made billionaire to surrender their credit card to a bank security guard just to be allowed to step through the door. People like Zhao Lidong or Tian Chunlai standing nearby witnessing this scene were as happy as if they had opened a festival, secretly laughing in joy seeing Lin Chen being shunned. They were like fanatical anti-fans, trying to suppress a superstar just to satisfy their own pitiful egos. However, the game quickly reversed. When the insults from the admissions teachers began to be exposed by the junior students, and the truth about Lin Chen's one-shot defeat of a sophomore capability became a thorn in their side, the admissions faction began to panic. They realized they had just insulted a real shark that, if they couldn't pull him into their school, they would face the wrath of their own principal. The scene shifted from dislike to competition faster than the drifting in a Fast and Furious movie. The admissions teachers, who were cold just minutes ago, now began to rush and jostle, throwing all kinds of perks, from scholarships to S-rank skill books to curry favor with Lin Chen. This attitude shift made everyone burst into laughter. Teacher Lu Na and Teacher Tu of the rival academies did not miss the opportunity, immediately mocking those who were caught between a rock and a hard place, turning the once solemn meeting room into a chaotic marketplace. Lin Chen still stood there, as calm as a king watching the courtiers bickering at his feet. He understood this game of life well. Those who once despised him now had to lower themselves to beg, because capability is the only thing that cannot be manipulated by prejudice. In the eyes of the 12th grade geniuses, Lin Chen was an annoying unknown, but in Lin Chen's eyes, those scrambling teachers were no different from a chaotic crowd of Black Friday shoppers, ready to trample each other just to fight over an item they had almost thrown into the trash. The top scholar of Thien Van province did not need to lower himself, because with his current capability, he was the one holding the power to decide the outcome of this game. The battle of wits at the admissions convention reached a conclusion that could not have been more satisfying. While 7 teachers from top-tier academies were still arrogantly talking down to him, Li Ruoyun from Qingxi Academy, who had been silent from the beginning, delivered the fatal blow. She not only offered generous resource packages but also included an SSS rank skill book, while committing to comprehensive protection for the future of Lin Chen's younger sister. The empty promises of mandatory adjustment from other schools now seemed as ridiculous as trying to use a locked credit card to pay for the most premium goods. Lin Chen, with his composure and sharp thinking, closed the deal with Qingxi Academy in exactly 1 second, leaving behind those who had once despised him, their faces pale as they realized they had missed out on a real shark. On the way back, Lin Chen also executed a subtle counterattack against local businesses. Although money was pouring into his account, he flatly transferred back all the gifts from businesses, only accepting rewards from the Beast Taming Association and the school. For Lin Chen, eating soft food from others was too high, a price that someone holding the future should never have to pay. The A-rank skill book Faith as Swift as the Wind, the city's reward, was quickly acquired, completing the perfect piece for his mobile fighting style. He understood clearly that in the world of beast taming, speed and evasion are the keys to survival, especially when his opponents are no longer just school bullies but national geniuses. As night fell, Lin Chen leisurely checked the stat board of himself and his pet. The result left even him astonished. The combat power conversion rate reached 1,000 times. Imagine while second-rate and third-rate provincial geniuses only have a pet conversion rate of about 400. Lin Chen's Zhu Yu possesses 10 times its master's mental attribute, reaching a figure of 3,600 points. This disparity is like people racing fast and furious in supercars. While he is driving a jet, Lin Chen ended a long day with his customary calmness. The anti-fans who once mocked him were now just fading memories, while those who had once belittled him were busy with the fear of being eliminated. With Zhu Yu evolving powerfully and a ticket to the nation's top academy, Lin Chen's journey was no longer a race against mediocre people. He was ready to step out into the big sea, where the title of top scholar was not just a name, but a launchpad for true dominance. The face-slapping game had just ended, but a more glorious chapter was about to begin. With a 3-star beast-taming badge in his hand, Lin Chen officially established the status of an influential figure in Donghai City. This was not just a title, but a powerful credit card that helped him access every privilege, from housing and cars to high-level social insurance that only beast masters possess. But while the outside world began to stir to hunt for him, Lin Chen was completely indifferent. He did not care about those. No one asks when poor, but many gather when rich people looking to network, but only focused on the most important person, his younger sister. Lin Vu Tish. The banquet at the 5-star Mingzhu Hotel at the invitation of Suo Shanhei was not just a farewell meal, but became a stage full of unknowns. Suo Shanhei, a seasoned elder, had long recognized the authoritative presence of Xiang Xuanyan beside Lin Chen. Just a cold warning glance from her was enough to make the famous iron-faced Asura shrink back, understanding clearly that this teenager was protected by a legendary entity. Meanwhile, his daughter, Suonggyu, looked at Lin Chen with admiration, for she had witnessed him transform from an ordinary teenager in the Ghost Soul Canyon into the provincial top scholar. The appearance of the trio Lin Chen, Lin Vu Teach, Xiang Xuanyan made the atmosphere in the private room very special. Lin Chen was relaxed. Xiang Xuanyan dotingly picked food for his younger sister, creating a picture of a harmonious family that, if viewed from the perspective of an outsider, few would believe was a poor family that had just successfully overcome difficulties. Of course, one cannot forget the scars in the hearts of the losers. Zhao Lidong, Tian Chunlai, Qinhai, and Tai Chaofan were still struggling with the trashy academies that Lin Chen himself had disparaged, while the top 10 admissions teachers were still harboring grudges for letting the shark slip into the hands of Qingxi Academy. This confrontation was like a dramatic Fast and Furious race, where Lin Chen had finished long ago, while that crowd of geniuses was still busy screaming behind with the stubbornness of an anti-fan. Lin Chen was completely uninterested in those petty grievances. When Suo Shanhei stood up and bowed to thank him for saving his life years ago, Lin Chen only responded with calm humility. He understood clearly that the respect he showed did not come from the 3-star badge or the title of top scholar, but from the actual capability he had used to affirm himself. In a small city like Donghai, Lin Chen was like a dragon waiting for the day to fly out to the big sea. He did not need to prove himself to anyone, because with a 1000 fold combat power conversion rate and an unlimited future, all those who once despised him would soon realize that the ordinariness they once mocked was actually an abyss they could never reach. The farewell banquet at the Mingzhu Hotel did not stop at polite thanks. Suo Shanhe, the powerful level 100 Beast Master, gifted Lin Chen 2 pieces of heavyweight equipment, the Ring of Demon Wings and the Bracelet of Star Connection. Do not be misled by the 2 words, Mystic Grade, because these are pieces of equipment crafted by famous clans from rare outer space meteorites, capable of withstanding 3 full power attacks from a level 100 powerhouse. This act of Suo Shanhei was like a billionaire, not just gifting you a supercar for travel, but also attaching a separate team of bodyguards for 24/7's protection. Lin Chen was a practical person. He accepted them calmly. Not out of greed, but because he understood that for the upcoming journey at Qingxi Academy, he needed the best tools to protect himself and his sister. After the banquet, Lin Chen did not rest on his laurels. While the anti-fans were still busy with useless arguments online, Lin Chen turned his summer vacation into a grueling training course. He spent half a month in the Burning Mountain Range to hone his combat skills. With the Ring of Demon Wings, a treasure capable of flexible transformation into a bow, staff, or greatsword, Lin Chen thoroughly resolved the issue of weapon limitations for the Beastmaster profession. When encountering the Fire Wind Mouse King, he displayed a methodical fighting style, like a master, using faith as swift as the wind to approach, coordinating smoothly with little Zhu Yu to lock the target with the Prohibition skill. With one wind-tearing arrow, the Fire Wind Mouse King collapsed, and Lin Chen officially reached level 20. The climax of the fateful face-slapping was the evolution of little Zhu Yu, the Dragon Cub's awakening of the SSS rank talent Night Shining Divine Eye and the S-rank skill Riding Clouds and Mists right after promoting proved to the whole world that the prejudice against an F-class beast master was just a joke by short-sighted people. Little Zhu Yu was now not just a pet. It was a real monster, capable of seeing through illusions and flying freely through the sky. Everything happened as quickly and accurately as how the characters in Fast and Furious turn at a speed of 300 kilometers per hour. While other candidates were still anxiously waiting for Beast, taming spiritual plants hoping for a fragile chance to change their lives, Lin Chen leisurely possessed a power foundation far exceeding expectations. For him, a career did not lie in gifts or praise, but in the internal strength that he himself had forged. As Qingxi Academy was waiting, Lin Chen was ready for a bigger game, where those who once looked down on him would have to stand and watch from afar. Astonished to see the Donghai provincial top scholar of yesteryear now rising to become an unshakable force, the duck turns into swan game ended. The race of the dragons officially began. Little Zhu Yu's evolution was a solid testament to Lin Chen's heaven-defying luck. From the egg in the Shanhai Jing meditation realm to reality, everything was not just luck, but a trade-off with the willpower to endure mental erosion countless times. Watching the little dragon gradually revealing its authority, Lin Chen understood that this was just the beginning of a journey that mediocre people would find hard to keep up with. On the day he left Donghai for the capital, Xiang Xuanyan shocked both Lin Chen and his sister, Lin Vutish, by announcing she would go along, even generously arranging the most expensive apartment right near Vutish's school. In the capital, where a falling brick could hit a level 100 Beastmaster, her action was not just generosity, but an affirmation of a background of capability that was not average. The flight to Luyun City took place under the high vigilance of the escort team against attacking monster herds. But to Lin Chen, that was just a prelude to greater challenges at the massive magic teleportation station. Here, among level 60, career changers as common as market vegetables, a man named Zhuo Bojun, who was confident with the flashy label of elite, did not know his own limits as he approached to talk to Xiang Xuanyan. He looked at her as if she were a Black Friday discount item. Ambitious and stupid. Xiang Xuanyan, famous in the capital for having a temper like explosives, instead of sending this guy to meet his ancestors, came up with a mischievous idea to use Lin Chen as a shield. Right in front of everyone, she linked arms with Lin Chen, flashed a deadly sweet smile, and declared, "Sorry, I already have a boyfriend." Before Lin Chen could clarify, she used a mouth-sealing skill that left him speechless, her hand locking onto his arm like iron pliers. This diverting the disaster move by Xiang Xuanyan not only left Zhuo Bojun frozen in shock, but also turned Lin Chen, a top scholar trying to maintain a calm demeanor, into the center of envy. Just like in the Fast and Furious movies, even if you have no desire to participate in the race, once you have been pushed into the passenger seat of a formidable driver like Xiang Xuanyan, being pulled into dramatic confrontations is unavoidable. This face slap to the petty individual was merely an appetizer, as Lin Chen's journey in the capital had now officially begun with all the attention he did not desire. At the magic teleportation station, Xiang Xuanyan made Lin Chen the focus of all eyes when she blatantly declared him her boyfriend to slap the face of the pursuer. Zhuo Boyun, an arrogant sophomore at Qingxi Academy, thought he could easily hunt a beauty, only to receive a harsh, verbal slap. Not every stray cat or dog is qualified to be his senior. This statement not only humiliated Zhuo Bojun, but also turned Lin Chen into a scandalous star right before the start of the term. The surrounding crowd began to whisper and gossip about the divine counterattack of the Thien Van provincial top scholar who had leaped from an F-class talent trash to the pinnacle in one step. Zuo Bojun left with a dark gaze. While teacher Li Ruoyun could not help but feel concerned, he understood clearly that in the environment of Qingxi Academy, where the most outstanding geniuses of the Dragon Kingdom are gathered, Xiang Xuanyan's declaration was no different from pouring oil onto a fire. Lin Chen at this moment was like a fast and furious player being pushed into a death race he never registered for. The upper-class students would certainly not pass up the opportunity to test whether this top scholar was truly qualified to be that arrogant. However, contrary to the teacher's anxiety, Lin Chen maintained an astonishing calmness. To him, these troubles were not a burden, but the necessary spice to keep university life from becoming dull. Lin Chen realized that Xiang Xuanyan was intentionally causing trouble to temper him, and he accepted that challenge refreshingly. In the small city of Donghai, he had long felt bored with life because he could not find a worthy opponent. The previous championship battles were to him like going to the supermarket on Black Friday. Too easy and requiring no effort at all. He longed to face true geniuses, those known as provincial demons nationwide. Finally, as the magic light from the teleportation array exploded, carrying the group into the mysterious dark space before arriving at the capital, Tiandu, Lin Chen was mentally prepared for a new beginning. Whether it was the senior anti-fans wanting to challenge him or the wealthy families wanting to make things difficult, to him, they were all just supporting characters in the upcoming play of dominance. The capital had opened its doors, and the Thien Van provincial top scholar was stepping in to rewrite the rules of the game himself. Tiandu Station appeared before Lin Chen's eyes with overwhelming majesty, but he had no time to admire it. The development of magic technology made traveling millions of kilometers take only 5 seconds, faster than the way an anti-fan changes their stance when seeing their idol get exposed. Under the guidance of teacher Li Ruoyun, Lin Chen's group quickly arrived at the gate of Qingxi Academy. Looking down from the flying carriage, the academy appeared like a painting, combining ancient architecture and magical palaces. However, behind that glamour was a sweltering atmosphere of hostility. As soon as Lin Chen stepped into the registration point, the eyes of dozens of senior students in the side hall immediately turned toward him as if he had just snatched the last bag of cookies on Black Friday. The reason for this coldness was none other than the stray cat or dog declaration that Xiang Xuanyan had uttered earlier. In the eyes of the sophomores, Lin Chen was not a top scholar, but an arrogant person who needed to be retaught. When a senior male student confirmed his identity, the attitude of the two female students who were enthusiastically leading the way changed 180 degrees. They returned his notebook and coldly refused to lead him further with the excuse that stray cats and dogs like us are not qualified to serve. Lin Chen just silently nodded and turned to leave. To him, these sarcastic remarks were no different from the buzzing of mosquitoes. He did not have time to argue, because his time was far more precious. He also flatly refused to join the student groups, because instead of associating with narrow-minded people who only knew how to form cliques, he would rather spend time practicing and improving his capability. The contrast in the side hall became even more ridiculous when another couple walked in, receiving a warm welcome and admiring cheers from the crowd. Obviously, these were the new student stars sought after by the crowd, people who knew how to play nice according to the standards of wealthy families. Lin Chen saw that scene and only found it funny. He walked on his own path, while Xiang Xuanyan and his sister were taken to the branch school by teacher Li. With the protection of a big shot like Xiang Xuanyan, he was completely at ease regarding his sister's safety. Everything at Qingxi Academy seemed to be intentionally isolating him, but Lin Chen knew clearly where he stood. He did not come here to compete for popularity in group chats, nor did he need the guidance of seniors with a superior mindset. To him, this academy was like a heavy-duty Fast and Furious race, where those who only knew how to use their tongues to insult others would soon be left behind by the speed of someone who truly possessed capability. Lin Chen quietly flipped through his student handbook, heading toward the dormitory. He was not afraid of trouble, because he was the one who created trouble for those who dared to look down on him. The game at Qingxi Academy had just begun, and he would show them that the Thien Van provincial top scholar position was not obtained through cheating, but was the result of a true monster. Lin Chen stepped into the Moonlight Garden Villa area, where the moment the door opened, rich magical energy immediately rushed in as if he had just stepped into a high-end magical air purifier. With student ID number 0001, Lin Chen officially owned an independent 3-story villa, integrating all amenities from a hot spring pool to a separate training ground. If one were to compare university life at Qingxi Academy to a race, Lin Chen had just been placed by the organizers at starting position number 1 with the most expensive supercar. However, He understood well that this was not a favor, but a mobile target attached right to his back. On the school forum, Lin Chen took a lap and noticed the freshmen were extremely confused about choosing a mentor. The traditional mentor selection system had been abolished. Now, the decision-making power rested in the hands of the lecturers, while hot-hit mentors like Xiao Yu or Long Zhe became idols sought after. A mysterious character named Alice, a beautiful but ice-cold elf, became a horror avoided by everyone because of her rigid and heartless teaching methods. Lin Chen was naturally calm, not interested in competing for attention in group chats, because he clearly understood the law of this academy ranking is the universal credit card. The division of living conditions based on rankings from top 100 to top 1000 was a realistic slap to the freshmen who were used to being sharks in their hometowns. Holding ID number 0001 meant becoming the #1 target for geniuses who were eager to change the status quo. Every month, the amount of credits the school's hard currency would be distributed based on ranking, creating an endless loop of competition. The strong get stronger thanks to benefits, and the weak struggle in a cycle of resource shortages. When teacher Li Ruoyan sent a message confirming his top position, Lin Chen only smiled meaningfully. He was not afraid of being targeted, because the life of a counterattacker is to go from an unknown position to someone everyone has to look up to. While other freshmen were busy arguing on the forum like anti-fans, preparing for a comment storm, Lin Chen had already begun calculating for the upcoming opening ceremony. He did not just come here to graduate, but to reset the rules of the game at Qingxi, like a true fast and furious racer. He knew when to hold his breath and when to hit the gas to leave every pursuer far behind in the rearview mirror. The kingship game at the top-tier academy had officially begun, and the new student with ID 0001 was ready to slap the face of anyone who dared to challenge his position. In the Moonlight Garden Villa, Lin Chen did not pay attention to the storms on the forum. He was busy taking care of little Yu, a baby dragon with scales as red as fire, with a diet of 50 kilograms of wild beast meat per meal. This baby was not just a pet, but a top-notch energy conversion machine. With no waste, Lin Chen casually fed little Yu 46 kilograms of meat, while he handled the remaining 4 kilograms himself. To him, this was not a burden, but a refueling process preparing for the upcoming performances. Meanwhile, on the Qingxi Academy forum, the freshmen were boiling like a pan of oil. Lin Chen, sitting firmly in the 0001 position, had triggered the self-esteem of a series of local geniuses. Whispers about unreasonable rankings, suspicions about Lin Chen's capability, and bitter posts from the jealous began to overflow. The crowd of freshmen, used to being hailed as darlings back home, now felt humiliated by the school's classification. They had no other choice but to continuously send petitions, requesting the school to open the major freshman exam early to reclassify positions. On the top floor of the lecture building, 3 grand deans, old monsters with mysterious levels, were sitting and watching this play with meaningful smiles. Grand Dean Dongzheng, along with Miao Yan and Wu Hong, indifferently watched the piles of petitions. They understood clearly that Lin Chen's 0001 ranking was not a gift, but a test. Instead of quenching the rage, Dongzheng waved his sleeve, deciding to move the major freshman exam from 5 days later to the very day of the opening ceremony. This was no longer a regular exam, but a survival arena to confirm who the true strong one was. As soon as the news was broadcast, the entire Qingxi Academy seemed to explode. Those freshmen who had been simmering with resentment like silenced anti-fans suddenly regained their spirit. Bursting with the will to fight, they hurriedly inventoried their supplies and honed their skills, waiting for the moment to slap the faces of the school authorities and overthrow Lin Chen's leading position. To this crowd, the upcoming major exam was like a Black Friday sale, the only opportunity for them to seize power and resources. However, while everyone was going all out in preparation, Lin Chen maintained the composure of a fast and furious racer waiting for the green light. He did not care for petty verbal confrontations. To him, when the arena opened, all complaints would end with the silence of the losers. The upcoming opening ceremony would not just be a welcome event, but a stage for the greatest collective face slap in history. In the Moonlight Garden, where the top 100 freshmen were concentrated, the atmosphere was thick with hostility. Bai Yehun, as a level Fura male god, was relaxing on a sofa with his 2 juniors, Peng Shenyu and Xiao Shuidong. To him, Lin Chen was merely someone who got lucky thanks to a time system pet that stalled for time, turning opponents into wooden logs to be attacked. A cheap style of a salted fish flipping over. Peng Shenyu and Xiao Shuidong were burning with spirit, vowing to beat Lin Chen until he crawled, thereby slapping the faces of the Thien Van provincial media, the ones who dared to honor him above their own idols. On the opposite side, Jiang Zi, the cold-blooded neon Mew girl with deadly red eyes, was also squinting at the news of the exam being moved up. An expectation filled with pride. The day of the major exam arrived, and the Qingxi arena shook with golden, star-red doors, a hellish difficulty level that made students from other schools cry just hearing the name. But for the geniuses of Qingxi Academy, this was a feast of confidence. Chu Jiji, Lu Yu, and Gu Yuelan appeared one after another, drawing enthusiastic cheers from the crowd. These geniuses were like shining stars. Jiang Zi was level 42, and the other three were level 40. All of them premium goods from wealthy families, with resources piled high like mountains. The crowd of freshmen looked at them with admiration mixed with resignation, comparing the competition with them to trying to use a regular credit card to challenge the owner of a black diamond. With the result decided right at the starting line. Just then, space seemed to freeze when Jiang Zi suddenly turned her head to look in another direction. The crowd immediately fell silent, their gazes turning toward the teenager who had just stepped into the arena, Lin Chen. Unlike Bai Yehan's relaxed appearance, Lin Chen carried a cold, decisive air, his body hiding explosive power, and his eyes were as still as a calm lake. This appearance quickly created a spectacular U-turn in the psychology of the crowd. The female students who had once joined the anti-fan club to mock him now automatically gave Lin Chen a 9.5 rating for his appearance. Indeed, humans are always deceived by their vision, forgetting all previous baseless prejudices just because someone is handsome. Lin Chen calmly walked through the storm, not caring about the prying eyes or the contempt from the seniors. To him, all this chatter was no different from the engine noise in a Fast and Furious movie. When the car is going at maximum speed, that noise is just a spice that adds to the drama of victory. The major freshman exam had officially begun, and this stage was ready to witness the most high-level face slap in history. In the Qingxi arena, space was torn apart by the white lion claws of the Space God Master, paving the way for the three Grand Deans and the majestic mentors to appear. Grand Dean Dong Zheng, with a manner both gentle and sharp, directly poured a bucket of cold water on the freshmen who were burning with spirit on the forum. He affirmed that the default ranking was not a joke, but the result of 3 sleepless nights reviewing the footage. To satisfy the arrogance of these high-quality sprouts, the school decided to open the major exam immediately, with the Blood Demon Earth Cavern dungeon at hellish difficulty, and of course, it had been strengthened by the mentors to teach a lesson to the hot-headed ones. The entire arena sank into silence, replacing the initial confidence with pale faces. The Blood Demon Earth Cavern was already a nightmare for level 50 Beastmasters, so having it strengthened now was no different from forcing the freshmen to commit suicide. This was the moment when arrogance was slapped straight in the face by reality. Just like realizing your credit card is completely useless against a designer item on Black Friday, the students began to panic. Those who had bragged online now had to frantically find teammates to form groups, accepting the sacrifice of individual assessment points just to save their lives. While the crowd was like a chaotic anthill, Lin Chen still stood there, calm to a frightening degree. Mentor Xiao Yu and the 3 deans could not help but wonder, where did a level 20 teenager, the lowest among all freshmen, get this confidence? They observed him as an unknown, curious whether he was truly a monster or just a fool who feared nothing. To Lin Chen, judgments about level or the crowd's mockery were just white noise. He did not care about the prying eyes, because he clearly understood the rules of this game in a life-and-death Fast and Furious race. Speed and skill are what determine the outcome, not paper data or displayed levels. After 5 minutes of preparation, light from the hellish golden doors flared up, swallowing the entire freshman class. Lin Chen and the other students were forcibly teleported into the Blood Demon Earth Cavern, a dark, damp space where bloodthirsty blood demon monsters were waiting. Notifications of simulated death appeared, urging everyone to fight without mercy, with no way back and no room for showing off. Everyone had to fend for themselves in the trap they had requested to enter. The decisive moment had arrived. Those with true capability would shine, while the anti-fans who only knew how to scream on the forum would certainly soon receive the most expensive lesson of their lives under the blades of the blood demons. Just after setting foot in the Blood Demon Earth Cavern, Lin Chen was immediately debuffed with a curse that reduced all his attributes by 20. In the chilly atmosphere filled with skulls and shrieks like a devil's lair, he did not flinch. With the mindset of a professional gamer, Lin Chen did not waste a second. He immediately drew 3 vials of medicine from his storage ring: Courage, Eagle Eye, and Agility. Each vial was drained, transforming Lin Chen into a fighting machine with skyrocketing attack power, critical hit rate, and movement speed. When the level 30 Blood Demon monsters strengthened versions with B-rank blood explosion skills rushed toward him, Lin Chen was not afraid. He summoned the Demon Ring, transforming it into a magic bow. With absolute precision, Lin Chen fired 5 consecutive arrows, piercing straight into the eyes of the monsters. The monsters exploded, but Lin Chen did not even bother to look. He entered the stone cave, threw 3 smoke grenades to obscure the opponent's vision, and then mixed in strange medicinal powder to make them dizzy and nauseous. Just as the blood demons recovered, Lin Chen threw more fire grenades, knocking them into the super adhesive liquid puddles he had prepared on the floor. The monsters were now like losers, stuck to the floor on Black Friday. Completely helpless, Lin Chen calmly raised his bow, firing repeatedly with critical damage, reaching 40,000 per shot. In less than 10 seconds, the entire group of strengthened monsters was completely cleared. The first floor cleared notification sounded, along with the opening of the door to the second floor, confirming Lin Chen's high-class performance. While other geniuses were still struggling to form teams, panicked by the hellish difficulty, Lin Chen had solved the first floor in just 30 seconds, like a fast and furious driver who had just performed a perfect drift. He did not need the clumsy coordination of the anti-fans on the forum. To Lin Chen, capability was the strongest answer, and all preparation was just to make the game easier. The second floor had opened, and this level 20 freshman was entering to teach the whole academy a lesson about absolute dominance. On the 3-dimensional screen in the arena, the battle of the freshmen was extremely fierce. The geniuses of this class were truly no joke, from the mighty mechanical tiger of the 79th ranked freshman to the light bird pet with the holy light skill that countered the darkness element of a female student. All were doing their best. The mentors and deans nodded in approval when they saw names like Jiang Zi or Bai Yehan clearing the first floor with dizzying speed. However, they did not forget to remind them using pet skills too early on the first floor was an impatient move because skill cooldowns were an extremely precious asset for the later stages. Suddenly, the mentors realized the absence of an important frame, Lin Chen. When the director hurriedly switched the window to his position, the entire auditorium fell silent. The image revealed was not Lin Chen struggling, but him calmly stepping into the rest area after cleaning up 100 dried blood demon skeletons on the second floor with a single sweep of his heavy sword. Even more surprising was that, from beginning to end, Lin Chen did not summon a single pet. He fought with his own robust physique and skilled handling. An unbelievable paradox for a freshman who was only level 20. Before the curiosity reached its peak, the deans asked the director to replay the entire clearing process of Lin Chen. The expert eyes were now glued to the screen, as if watching the World Cup final. They witnessed Lin Chen drinking medicine like water, transforming the demon ring into a magic bow, and sending the monsters to the yellow springs with just critical shots to the eyes. When they saw him throw smoke grenades followed by slime sticky bombs, the mentors realized Lin Chen's position manipulation strategy. He did not need flashy pet skills. He used his intellect and thorough preparation of tools to turn high-level monsters into immobile target practice. The fact that an unadvanced freshman had accuracy and tactical thinking far exceeding a professional archer made the deans exclaim in astonishment. To the family geniuses who were used to using credit cards to buy power and rank, Lin Chen's performance was like a guy on a beat-up motorcycle performing fast and furious supercar drifts on a death track, while other freshmen were gritting their teeth waiting for skills to cool down, like anti-fans waiting for a scandal to criticize. Lin Chen had silently proven that true capability does not lie in flashy moves, but in a cold head in a battlefield filled with death. In the Blood Demon Earth Cavern, Lin Chen continued to turn the Hell difficulty dungeon into his personal playground. While other freshmen struggled to use pet skills to clear monsters, Lin Chen remained loyal to the cheap props on the market items that the family young masters would not even spare a glance. The deans and mentors outside were watching in shock. They realized Lin Chen had not yet officially advanced his class, losing out completely in passive skills and talents compared to his peers. The reason was ridiculously simple. He did not join the freshman chat group, so he knew nothing about going to the treasury hall to receive his rewards. This unintentional outdatedness put Lin Chen at a significant disadvantage, but it was exactly that which made his performance more mind-blowing than ever. As Lin Chen entered the second floor, facing 100 level 40 blood demon skeletons entities capable of reducing physical damage by 40%, the mentors held their breath, waiting to see what tricks he would use. His bow and arrows obviously could not pierce that steel skeleton, but Lin Chen did not panic. He began a top-tier magic chemical reaction first. Smoke grenades to obscure vision, followed by puddles of steaming blue liquid corrosive solution tossed onto the arena floor. When the magic bomb exploded, red flames erupted, transforming into blue corrosive fire, directly incinerating the skeleton's bones with a gruesome sizzling sound. Not stopping there, Lin Chen took out 2 barrels of softening oil and carried them on his shoulders like a farmer watering crops. He continuously sprayed oil onto the monsters that were panicking in the sea of magic fire. The combination of magic bombs, corrosive liquid, and softening oil created a perfect chemical reaction. The sturdy C-rank iron bone and steel tendon shell of the blood demon skeletons was quickly softened and corroded under the effect of the magic flame. Witnessing this scene, the mentors could only exclaim in astonishment. To those accustomed to using family credit cards to buy ranks and high-end gear, Lin Chen's technique was like a plumber using a wrench to defeat an entire army of knights. He turned a gold-level hell difficulty dungeon into a calculated chemistry experiment, proving that real capability does not come from the amount of money topped up or the displayed level, but from a cold head. While the anti-fans were busy judging him on the forum, Lin Chen used his ability to fertilize their arrogance with a performance that could not be faulted. The second floor was gradually being swallowed by the triple combination tactic of this 0001 freshman. The massacre on the second floor happened faster than anyone could believe. When Lin Chen cast the A-rank swift as the wind, he rushed straight into the pack of blood demon skeletons like a whirlwind. Under the influence of the softening oil and the previous magical chemical reaction, the bones that were once as hard as steel were now as brittle as the cookies left on the Black Friday shelves. In less than a minute, with decisive swings of his heavy sword, Lin Chen turned 100 skeletons into a pile of scrap. Outside, the mentors could only stare with dropped jaws. For them, this was an unparalleled mowing performance. While for the proud daughters of heaven struggling to grind, Lin Chen's tactic was like a guy on a beat-up bike performing fast and furious drift techniques that made them question their own existence. After a mandatory 3-minute break, Lin Chen entered the 4th floor. The vast stone hall welcomed him with 2 massive guards, the Blood Demon Knight Giant and the Archer, both level 50 elite monsters. While other freshmen were struggling because they had not reached level 50 to awaken for the second time, meaning their pets were stuck, blocking damage, while they themselves were in extreme danger, Lin Chen maintained the calm demeanor of a master. He softly called Little Yao, and the small snake appeared on his shoulder, preparing for a world-class performance. When the 2 7 to 8 meter tall giants lunged with earth-shattering power, Lin Chen did not step back. Instead, Little Yao's dragon pupils suddenly turned a mystical purple, and the massive 9-nether eye appeared behind Lin Chen's back. Night Shining Divine Eye, the illusionary ocular talent of the divine beast, Bamboo Dragon, officially activated. The world in the giant's eyes was instantly distorted. They saw their own teammates as their enemies. A scene as humorous as it was ridiculous unfolded. The aggressive Blood Demon Knight swung its axe and shattered half of the Archer teammate's body, while the Archer also roared crazily, believing the small human in front had turned into a giant wielding an axe. While the antifons were busy typing away to criticize him for not having advanced or being outdated, Lin Chen was calmly standing on the sidelines, leisurely enjoying the self-destruction of the 2 bosses. It is true in life that sometimes you don't need to use a family credit card to buy high-end gear. Just a little psychological hacking is enough to turn the strongest enemy into a clown, serving your victory. On the 4th floor of the Blood Demon Earth Cavern, as the illusion skill, Night Shining Divine Eye, reached its peak and the 2 level 50 Blood Demon Giants lunged into self-destruction amidst the madness of past memories, Lin Chen just stood by calmly, as if watching a cheap reality show. As soon as the terrifying magic explosion from the Archer wiped out most of the 4th floor's structural integrity, Lin Chen did not bother glancing at the rubble, directly stepping into the 5th floor light door. As soon as he set foot into the underground church, a putrid stench hit his nose, forcing him to quickly take out a magic face mask. In the center of the church, the Blood Demon King, a thin, the withered monster with a single poisonous eye, crawled upside down on the ceiling like a spider, sticking out its long, slimy tongue and threatening to turn Lin Chen into meat slave. For Lin Chen, this level 60 boss was not a threat, but just a math problem that needed to be solved quickly to stay on schedule. Without a word of reply, he signaled the little bamboo dragon to launch its attack. The Blood Demon King nimbly dodged Little Yu's foul energy stream and lunged to tear Lin Chen's head off with the A-rank skill Blood Claw Soul Hunt. But just as the sharp claw was about to touch its target, time suddenly froze. Lin Chen cast the S-rank Prohibition skill, a technique with the characteristics of a divine beast that caused even the Blood Demon King's thoughts to be locked tight. In the black and white world of static time, Lin Chen and Little Yu simultaneously exploded with power. With a combo of armor penetration, critical strikes, and accumulated damage, Lin Chen lunged in to shatter the monster's heart and throat, while Little Yu's tail whipped hard against the opponent's head. When time restarted, The Blood Demon King's body immediately exploded into mud and flesh with a damage figure of 650. Ling ling ling. Far exceeding its maximum health, ending the battle in a mere 3 minutes and 15 seconds. The Hell difficulty clearance notification sounded, registering Lin Chen into the history of Qingxi Academy. Outside, the deans and mentors could hardly believe their eyes. They witnessed his little snake not only possessing time element skills, but also hacking the opponent's mentality with ocular illusion magic, turning level 50 elite bosses into self-destructing clowns. To those still busy judging Lin Chen as outdated or not advanced, this performance was like a slap in the face. The combination of time element and illusion magic on the same pet, if placed in a textbook, would be enough to rank in the top 20 strongest individuals in the world. While the anti-fans were likely still busy typing on the forum, Lin Chen had lightly passed the hurdle, turning a Hell difficulty dungeon into a literal walk in the park, leaving the entire board of judges stunned and wondering just what kind of terrifying background did this pet of his actually have.